Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1994 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. Up front is a 5.7 liter V8, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now, I'm super excited to be driving this here Fleetwood for two main reasons. First of all, I've been filming cars all morning. It's very hot today, and this is the only one that has air conditioning, so I'm going to milk it for all it's got. But the second reason is because this is quite the interesting vehicle. Not many people really know the difference between the Fleetwood and the DeVille. They look very similar, and I've reviewed a similar year DeVille as well, in 1994. But the differences will actually shock you. Don't know why I made that sound like a pop-up ad. These 5 differences will shock you, and you won't believe number 4. Anyway, there's a lot of differences that I wasn't aware of, so I'm excited to share them with you. So let's get back to that 5.7 liter V8. It's shared with the Impala, it's shared with the Buick Roadmaster, which I've reviewed, and overall, this is pretty much a bread and butter motor from Chevy. I'll put the horsepower and torque up on the screen. It makes good horsepower. They shoved this thing into everything, and I can't say I blame them. They've always made reliable power, and I've never heard anyone really have too many issues with them. And difference number one between this and a DeVille is the fact that this does not have a North Star V8. In the mid-90s, Cadillac started to leave the 5.7 and go to the 4.6 North Star V8, which was a terrible engine. Terrible engine. And so this does not have that. This is pre-North Star domination, which means this car will be reliable and not a nightmare to work on. Like I said, paired to it, 4-speed automatic, it's the 4L60E we've come to know and love, which is funny because this car was offered with a towing package. Towing with a 4L60E, that does not sound like a good day. But overall, the transmission is nice and smooth for what it is. I don't really notice it shifting all that much, and it's 27 years old at this point, which is impressive for a 4L60E. Last but not least, one of the big differences between this and the DeVille is the fact that the Fleetwood remained rear-wheel drive. So this is actually a D-body, not a B-body. The Buick Roadmaster was a B-body. This is a D-body, which is slightly longer of a platform, but it's pretty much the same as a B-body where it's a rear-wheel drive layout. So this here Fleetwood is rear-wheel drive, unlike the DeVille. So I think that that's really, really neat. One last thing about the drivetrain is the driving feel. This car is incredibly floaty. Now from the factory, it does have air shocks, but this car has since had its air shocks replaced by traditional shocks because, of course, the air shocks go bad after a while, and you can just bolt in any random shock as a replacement, unlike the Lincoln Town Car, where it had an airbag system, and once those bags pop, you're looking at thousands of dollars. So that is a nice advantage of the Fleetwood's air system over the Town Cars. With that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. We have quite a bit to go through in here because of the Brougham package. Well, first of all, for you Cadillac nerds, I am going to leave up the window sticker for this exact car. The owner, Tom, has the original sticker for this car. So you can pause the video if you'd like, if you want to read the entire thing. I think it definitely has some interesting info on it, especially what's in the Brougham package. But let's talk about the interior. In front of me, I have a digital screen. I just get my speedometer in the middle, fuel to the left, trip odometer, and vehicle odometer to the right. That's it. That's all I get on this little panel. And unfortunately, I don't have night mode where it just shows me speed, but that's okay. There's only 2 other things on the screen I think I can manage. Down below that, I have which gear I'm in, and of course some buttons to trip reset. And then on the steering wheel, it does have a very pillowy airbag, and that's it. I don't get any buttons. I don't get any volume adjustments. Nothing else is on the steering wheel besides the airbag, and it has the Cadillac logo embossed in it, which is great. To the left of me, I have my headlights and interior lights, as well as I have my auto headlights, better known as the Twilight Sentinel. I love Twilight Sentinel. I've seen it in the Cadillac Alante and DeVille. Basically, this just means your auto headlights. Why they went ahead to call it the Twilight Sentinel, like it's a newspaper in a superhero movie, I don't know, but it's always fun seeing that in a Cadillac product from the 90s. Then on the door, I have lock and unlock up top. Then I have a speaker in the door, and then I have a bunch of buttons down below. I have my mirror adjustments up top. Then I have my rear window lockout for my child locks. Then I have my 4 power windows. Then I have my seat adjustments, which It gives me plenty of seat adjustments, tons of adjustability here, and I absolutely love that. I think it's really, really great, especially for the 90s. These seats are memory as well, and they are heated, which is just so great and so useful. And again, staggering features for 1994. Love that. So a couple of thank yous to the people who made this video possible. First of all, we have Cash for Cars. Cash for Cars wants to buy your car. Whether it's running, non-running, has a good title, salvage title, whatever it is, you can get a free quote from Cash for Cars and they will pick up your vehicle in less than 24 hours. Our next sponsor is Fixed. Fixed is a Bluetooth OBD2 sensor that plugs directly into your car and pairs to your smartphone. The app allows you to monitor your vehicle's health. It gives you a forecast of issues that might come up and helps you schedule maintenance and find new parts. Our final sponsor is Conplates. Conplates is a suction cup license plate mount for the front of your vehicle if you don't want to drill one into your bumper. All three of our fantastic sponsors can be found in the description below, as well as videos explaining them further if you'd like more information, but let's get on with the review. Moving into the center, I do have my climate controls. I have auto, temperature, and fan speed, but I do not get to choose where to send it. I don't get to choose my feet, my head, my arms, shoulders, legs, knees, and toes, the hip bone connected to the whatever bone, and that's annoying to me. And that's annoying to the owner, Tom. You don't get to choose where to send it. The Cadillac gets to decide for you. And something else interesting is the fact that I complained about a lack of gauges up front. However, I can actually get that information here in the climate controls of all places. So if you hold the up temperature and off button, it'll send you into a sort of diagnostic mode. If you have a check engine light, it's gonna tell you here. If you want a tachometer, you can get it here. If you want a coolant temperature, you can get it here. This is very, very weird, and this car falls in a weird time because 1994 means that this car was required to have OBD1. Onboard Diagnostics 1, meaning it had check engine lights and codes. But OBD1 was very short-lived in most cars because OBD2 came out in 1996, which is the typical now code reader thing that we're so used to these days. But for a time, this is how you got codes. It's very, very strange. Then down below that, the owner has swapped out the head unit because, of course, every head unit from the 90s was pretty much garbage. And so you have to swap it out. Then to finish out that center, we do have a pull-out 12-volt outlet and ashtray. The shifter is on the column. There is no floor-mounted shifter, so it gives my knee plenty of space, as well as I can use this bench seat, which is fantastic. Now there is a fold-down center console, and inside that center console, I do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test, and of course it fails. The interesting thing about these cup holders is that they don't even lay flat. What cup holder isn't flat? I guess here in the Cadillac Fleetwood, they're not. So, because of that, it fails the big friggin' bottle test. Speaking of the seats, this interior is finished in cherry, Cadillac calls it, and it is very maroon. Dark cherry. This is like cherry with the pit still in it. And these seats are incredibly comfortable. Incredibly comfortable. You sink right into them. You know, I think something really has been lost after the 1990s. I've ranted about this in plenty of videos, so I don't need to go into it now, but they just don't make seats like this anymore. They really, really don't. But speaking of those seats that they don't make anymore, let's go talk about the back seats. All right, so we're in the back of the 1994 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham, and these seats are just as comfortable, if not more comfortable than the front seats. Absolutely awesome. Love that. I have ashtrays over here, of course, with their own cigarette lighters for each passenger. Very nice. I, of course, have lock and unlock, power windows, things like that. And then I do get a center console here, fold out cup holders, and I get this nice Cadillac half logo embroidered back here. It doesn't have the actual Cadillac logo, but it's like the wreath that goes around it. That looks really, really nice. Now, something interesting is that this back here, this little block thing, these two little circles are actual lights. And so they light up whenever you hit the brakes. They're not bright, they're not annoying, but it's so you know that your rear brake light is working without having someone hit the brake while you stand behind it and they yell, "Is it working? All right." None of that. Cadillac says, no. You are a man who buys a Cadillac. You are self-sufficient. And so those little holes will light up. I'll show a video here of when the brake light is on whenever you hit the brakes, so you know that they're working. That's really cool. But if you want some more cool quirkiness, let's hop around and take a look at the trunk. So one cool thing to absolutely dab on the haters with, bada bing, bada boom. Love that. And that's on the key fob, which is great. Huge trunk, obviously aftermarket sub here. Huge, huge, huge trunk. I mean, tons of space. If you can't fit it in here, you can't fit it in a vehicle. Absolutely love that. But the cool thing is that down here, you see this little lever? This is a license plate lock because when you unlock it like this, the fuel door is behind the license plate. So once that's up, you can actually lock it from inside the trunk here, and then no one can get to your gas cap, which is really, really cool. And that's part of the security package. This car has the security package, which I will put up a picture of here from the window sticker. Really, really cool. But I just think that this is so unique. You can lock your gas cap from the trunk. Really, really cool. And normally this car should have a soft close trunk. However, it has broken over the years and 250,000 miles, which is fine. So you got to close it like a normal plebeian. Now we got to talk about the looks. And first of all, part of the Brougham package was the vinyl top. It was the seats. The seats are a lot nicer, but also the vinyl top that you see on screen. And of course the badges and some other small details like that. And I think overall this car is really, really cool, and it's really good looking. It definitely looks like a big-bodied Cadillac because it is. This is a big-bodied Cadillac. And it's hard to kind of capture how big this Cadillac is. This is actually a couple inches longer than the Suburban of the time from Chevy. This is a massive, massive car. And what's interesting is that up on the hood, there are actual little parking lights. They come on when the brights are on, and they come on when the blinker's on, so you know when your light is out based off of those little lights. Very, very nice. But now we gotta talk about the 1994 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham as a whole. Well, first of all, that name is kind of hard to say. Not Fleetwood, but Brougham. Brougham. I've been told it's pronounced Brougham. Like when your friend is acting real sus and you go, bro, Brougham, whatever it may be. It's just such an official name. I feel like it's from the 1930s or 1950s. It has this gusto to it. That's not just a Cadillac, that's a Cadillac Brougham. Ladies and gentlemen, the brand new Cadillac Brougham, fresh out of Detroit. Get you or your loved one a brand new Cadillac Brougham. I don't know. I feel like it's best pronounced in the mid-Atlantic accent. But the car as a whole is incredibly comfortable, and it's really, really holding on to old Cadillac. Yes, I know a lot of Cadillacs from the 70s have been front-wheel drive, but big body sedans tend to be rear-wheel drive. That's sort of the way to do it. This is the ushering of a new era, the 90s. This is really holding on to the 80s and the 70s with every grasp and breath because it has the 80s speedometer. It's very 80s. It's huge. It's massive. It's rear-wheel drive. It has the rear wheel covering. It has the big, lopey, throaty 5.7 instead of that new age North Star. And yet it has to have onboard diagnostics. That was a government regulation. So Cadillac said, fine, we'll put in the climate controls. And the government was like, oh, okay. I mean, you don't have to. Okay, sure. It seems like you've made up your mind. And so this here Cadillac Fleetwood, which the name even Fleetwood has been absent from Cadillac since the 90s, ushered in the new era. This is your liaison from 80s Cadillac to 90s Cadillac. And to be quite honest with you, I quite like the old. There's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Cadillac went on fixing something that wasn't broken. The Fleetwood wasn't broken. This car has done 253,000 miles, and yet things still work on here. Normally, I love bashing GM build quality, but honestly, there's not much to bash in here. Okay, the dash is cracked, yes, and a couple of the little plastic parts don't quite fit fully. But in terms of overall quality, I'm not mad at it. This car has held up really, really well, and yet Cadillac went on fixing something that wasn't broken. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Tom for letting me take out his 94 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. This thing is absolutely awesome. He is absolutely awesome. I've reviewed a couple of his cars today. He's been great throughout the whole process, and I cannot thank him enough for letting me do this, and I can't thank him enough for having the AC still working here. Love that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.